delighted to say that we're here and you are there, and to know that you are there to be part of what is going on, or what will be going on the program today. The program, of course, still remains the polity, and each time we talk about the polity, all we do is to discuss the polity. And that will happen again this afternoon. This is Okechukwu Onubogu, and I want to say thank you for being there. This day, I'm not going to talk alone. I have someone that is a colleague of mine and a public affairs analyst, a special one for that matter, seated here with me to do justice to the topics we'll handle today. And he is John Okoro. It's a pleasure having you here again, John.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, viewers.
And even as he has come, as we are here, there are things for us to talk about, things for us to handle, things for us to look at, things for us to discuss, things for us to what do I use? Trash out some of the things that are in there that we need to see. And so there are topics, there are points. Though there is one major point, but then there are different topics. Because for today, we'll look at the Osun account freeze. You know, we have had that, and it has gone on. There are sides that we've had earlier when the government, the commissioner for information in Osun did talk about it, and afterwards the governor talked, and afterwards the governor discussed with the president, and after that presidential talk, I would say the Osun state governor got some relief because President Tinubu gave a timely response to their plea, considering the fact that the election is just over the weekend, and then the accounts being frozen just within that week of the election. It really showed a kind of a bad blood, if you like. And so, after speaking with the president decided to say that the EFCC boss should reverse the order. And in actual fact, I read from else that he said he should go to court and get a fresh order from the court, so as to be able to unfreeze or defreeze the account that has been frozen. And that is one thing, reverse the frozen account so that it will become active again. Then again, apart from that, we'll also, as time goes on in the program, we'll also look at the matter of the fake agency that everybody has been talking about in Nigeria. Then the latest side of the story again we'll look at, because ICPC has submitted an interim report, and even not only in that report, ICPC has said that there are other offices that were created by this same the fake DG, embattled DG. Well, that is to say, we're saying that for now it is fake until we get to have a very perfect proof of it. So that's why the inquiry is going on, and so the reports will go on until it is over. But I must tell you that Adeyemi is really embattled. Well, we'll talk about that more as we go on the program. We also have the other story that has to do with state police. That talk of state police has been on for a while now, and it seems to have gained momentum effectively, because the National Assembly is through with it, and they've shifted it over to the States Assembly, or State Assemblies, depending on the way you call it. State Assemblies or States Assembly. So anyone you choose, but I know it's better to say state assemblies, because there's one and the others. And so looking at it, we'll also check and find out exactly what we think about that. Also, as we go on, we'll look at other matters, because there's some other thing that we may look into, but we just let us go with this first. And that one has to do with the thing that's happening in the correctional center. Well, let's go on with this first of all. Then after that, we'll look at if the time permits, we'll still go and look at the thing that has to do with some people in the correctional center TikToking, even when they are on death row. Well, we'll just discuss all this. John, I want to ask you, look at it. Let's begin with the Osun account freeze. I know you know a lot about these things, so tell us a bit of what you think about it as we go on in our discussion.
Well, thank you very much again. Okay, I know the issue is about politics. It's about the independence of institutions. It's also about maybe interference, when it comes to the independence of institutions and how authorities, interfere with their independence, and so on and so forth. So it's a whole gamut of so many aspects and so many facets. The news just broke. Was it on Wednesday? Today is Friday, right? The news broke about 2 days ago on Wednesday that the EFCC, as of then, had frozen the account of the Osun State government because they suspected that some illegal transactions were being made on that particular account. Some monies allegedly had been moved illegally to some other accounts, and so on and so forth. Because they have been monitoring, or they have been, gathering intelligence, about some of these suspected of funds since March of this year. So when they were not sure that they were just sure they have gotten the proof of their suspicion, they now went ahead to invoke their powers to freeze the account of the state. And so when the news broke, it was received with mixed reaction across the spectrum in the country. And most people were saying, we just have some few days to the elections. Why do you have to freeze the account of the state, at this point in time, this very crucial time? So people normally and ordinarily, and somehow too, based on perception, believe that it was linked to the issue of politics, because we know that the Osun State Governor, Ademola Adeleke, he used to be a member of the PDP. He was elected on the platform of the PDP, after which, he now moved and joined the Accord Party. And everything, his decision was based on, what he felt that if he didn't move, the PDP for a while now has been embroiled in all this factionalization and public horrendous. So he felt that maybe staying back in the PDP may cost him his second term bid. Therefore, he now moved to a party, the APC, the Accord Party, where he felt that he will have a safe landing. And then based on that, there has been no love lost between him and the other opposition parties, especially the APC, which is the ruling party at the center.
There's something I want to chip in here.
Okay.
When we were talking about the fact that it's about time, it's just within the period of election that this thing has happened. You will see that definitely it will look as though it was the ruling party that was...
That's the point, that it was political related.
Yes.
That's the general perception across the country, that because it's very close to election time in the state. And we also know that even before now, that there's been no love lost between the state governor, the incumbent governor, Ademola Adeleke, and the opposition party, mainly the APC in the state.
Because he wanted to join APC originally.
And beyond that,
they resisted him.
The immediate past governor, Oyetola, who is now the current minister of blue economy, he was the immediate past governor of the state, and he was an APC member. And you also know that all this while that there's been this whirlwind of governors who were elected under PDP, moving to APC almost. I think now they say they have about 31 states. And so, the president, being the president at the center, the APC also being the party at the center, also it is perceived that they also want to take over most of the southwest. APC is ruling in Lagos State and in Oyo State. you know, it's a different part. That is Makinde. I think Makinde is supposed to be in PDP. And then when you go to Osun State is APC. If you go to other places, Kwara State, okay, Kwara is the North Central. If you go to Osun State, of course, we know that Osun too, you know, and the rest of them. No, Osun State, you know. Osun State is currently is a core party.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Has become
a core party. Then if you go to other states like Ondo State, Ondo State is APC. So imagine that it's just Oyo State and Osun State that are not a part of the APC family within the Southwest. So it is also believed and perceived within the polity that the APC wants to capture Osun State by all means.
Yes.
I also know the issue of the local government funds, you know, that have been seized. And it was even alleged that the federal government has been paying the local government allocations straight to the local governments, because those local governments are basically APC local government. You know. So all these things have been there on ground, and the governor too have been shouting, you know, that asking the president to make sure that this election will be free and fair, you know, and so on and so forth, and you know, because they will not use state power, you know, to wrestle power from them, and all. So in the midst of this, in the midst of all these confusion and accusations and counter accusations, then the EFCC now came and froze the account of the state. So naturally, it will be adduced by any normal thinking human being logically that it was based on politics in order maybe to render them powerless, believing that if they don't have the funds, you understand, they will not be able to maybe mobilize for the election, because everything about election in this country is all about money. Who can spend more than the other person? So they felt that maybe that the war chest of the Osun State government is within the account, hence the freezing. That is the perception of the people. Even though the EFCC said, no, we have been following this thing since March. And therefore, so based on that, thank God, at least in order to calm down the polity, the president now intervened.
Yes.
You know?
That's why I say, and the president distances himself from EFCC's Osun account freeze. Says, I'm deeply embarrassed. That's what the president said. I'm deeply embarrassed.
Exactly.
You know. So that's one good thing that the president has done. Of course, he's been doing some good things anyway. But this is one good thing again he has done, making it clear. Not waiting for a lot to happen before he comes out to say anything. He just came out and made it clear that, no, I'm not part of this. This is not what we planned. Even so, you remember that on so many occasions the governor of Osun State, Adeleke, has made it clear that it is the president that he will vote for. He has made it clear, and he has to, yes, as the national election for the presidential. Yes, as it has been happening in Anambra State anyway. As it's been happening in Anambra State for a while now. They always vote for, yes, that kind of thing. And now that River State is doing the Rainbow Coalition. So he himself said, it's not a problem. We would vote for him. Myself and my people will vote for him. Let him continue. But for here, I still want to hold sway here.
Yeah, exactly.
So those people who are against him on a serious, just as you mentioned, the one that was the former governor before he came in.
Lajo Oyetola.
Yes, Oyetola.
Who is now the minister of blue economy.
Yes. So there is no. It's been like that. So it's good. It's a good thing that the governor shouted out and cried out. Not only that, called the president immediately, because that's what some people were saying some time ago about what happened in Oyo State. That the governor did not call the president when they talked about the abduction of those people. Yes,
school children and teachers.
So, but this one didn't bother. He had to call the president so that he would let him know what's going on and find out what the president thinks about what's going on. And it came out the way it came. Well, that's a good one anyway. And some people have spoken against even the reverse. And the EFCC boss, as the politician has said it, faces public fury. Is there any reason for which he should be facing public fury at a time like this?
Well, you know, there are a lot of things that are very, very sensitive within the general state of things, and the politics, democracy, and perception, public opinion and public perception is very, very vital in the success or otherwise of any government or any system. And any right-thinking person, we know that it was not the right thing to do at this moment in time, especially with all the hues and cries, emanating from the state, especially from the stable of the state governor, who had actually, in many instances, cried out and complained that he was under pressure, and there are a lot of efforts were being made from the center, from the ruling party, to make sure that they wrestle the state from him. By all means, whether a do or die affair kind of thing.
Yes.
So based on that, what I would have expected the EFCC to do will be, because even beyond the issue that you froze the accounts of the state, because freezing the account of the state would definitely means the state wouldn't have any other means of taking care of its day-to-day responsibilities. The state needs the funds to take care of many things, especially the issue of paying salaries to staff, pensioners, and so many other responsibilities that the state needs to have money to do. So by the time you freeze the account, what you're essentially saying is that the state will have to be and stay and remain in coma.
Yes.
Until the issue is settled. However, again, that's on one hand. If you also look at the legal aspect or the procedural aspect or the statutory aspect of the EFCC in carrying out its legal responsibilities or statutory responsibilities, you also say, okay, even though you have election at hand, was it the right thing to do? Was it the right time to freeze the account? Do you even need to freeze the account in the first instance? Because I have had argument of people who said, you said that you follow this account and monies were being transferred from the account to other accounts allegedly. Okay, some people had actually argued and continue to argue that what the EFCC ought to have done would have been to follow those accounts where those monies were being transferred to, and then block them or freeze those accounts for the meantime. You understand? And then continue to monitor to see then at a point, maybe after the election time, because whether you like it or not, this is still Africa, and our democracy is growing. So there are some certain things you will do as a law enforcement, especially in Nigeria, where all the federal law enforcement agencies are being controlled by the federal government. They are not independent. They are because the federal government, the president, appoints the heads of these agencies, whether it is EFCC, ICPC, or the police, or whether it is NIA, whether it is even the DSS. It's the president that appoints. So there's always this perception that these people are not independent in time, practically, that they may at any given time bid to what the president might order them to do. That's the perception around the country. That's why it is very, very important that when these agencies carry out the responsibilities, especially at a time like this, even currently as we speak, beyond the Osun state election that's just going to come on the 15th of August, we are still heading towards the main presidential election in January of next year, which is the main thing. Even now, the opposition parties are also saying, especially the issue of INEC, the issue of INEC and INEC neutrality and independence has been on the front burner all this while, even up to this moment. So it is important, and that's why it is also good that the president, though most people have said, like me personally, if you ask my opinion, I wouldn't think that it would have been necessary. Even if the president wanted to intervene, he should have used the backroom channels instead of coming out physically. Because now that he came out physically, and even normally when the president wants to issue a release, it comes through his spokespeople. But this time around, the president wrote by himself. But if you look at that press statement, it is directly from the president. That's why he was using the first person, I wasn't this, I was not, all this kind of thing, because he wrote directly, which is very unusual. But me, I felt that all the president ought to have done was simply call on the Attorney General of the Federation, who supervises the EFCC, and instructs him please call the chairman of the EFCC, talk to him and let them discontinue this process. The EFCC will come out and give a public statement that's okay, based on this and based on that, therefore we are discontinuing this thing, we are unfreezing this account for the meantime based on this, and it's not going to bring up this public uproar that we are getting from the opposition. Because opposition is not saying that based on the president's intervention, that it's like the president is now interfering in the operations of these agencies. So I feel that, for me personally, my own opinion, the president shouldn't have come publicly. You understand? Because statecraft, in some instances, it requires some kind of circumspection when you are carrying out some public policies. So I feel that the president should have just, the backroom channels, call the Attorney General. Attorney General now gets across to the chairman of the EFCC, and then they will tell the operatives to get this in out, and the matter goes on.
But then you look at it, I understand what you're saying, which is okay, but you look at it again, NBA lawyers, others, backed Tinubu for condemning attack freeze ahead of August 15 poll.
Yes.
So you see, the Nigerian Bar Association is on the same side with the president.
Everybody, what the president did is right.
It's just that the process through which it happened is what
for the president, because as like I mentioned, statecraft. Statecraft is just as simply as you can put it. It's just that the ability to govern, the ability to come out with public policies. You understand? That will not bring out or engender or lead to all these unnecessary uproars in the system because of certain public utterances, public policy. Because once there are certain public policies that government, churns out and it brings out public opprobrium, that naturally, it will be devoid of the real art of statecraft. So in the art of statecraft, you must do things, that will stabilize and maintain, a kind of peace in the politics. Because no matter, you see the action of the president, which is good, but it's a double-edged action, because the opposition will always latch on it. Because this is politics. The opposition will always latch on it and say that he interfered. So that is why I suggested that the best option would have simply been, you will still intervene by using the back room channel, because that, like in politics, in governance, it's not everything that happens behind closed doors that people come to. All people want to see is the result. You understand? So that is it. But however we look at it,
the deed is done.
It's been done, and it's a nice one.
It's a good one. Yes.
And
everyone
see how it has lowered the tempers, flaring in Osun State and across the country. Then,
in addition, the Oyetola APC has asked or charged the governor to apologize to the president as well as to Oyetola over that, saying that before he had said that they were the ones involved. So that now that the president has made it clear that he doesn't know anything about it and accepted that, they are now, their party is now trying to compel the man to apologize, do a public apology.
So it's not left for the governor to know,
decide on
whether to decide whether he will do that or not. But like we have already said, it is all about perception. The EFCC officially said that they have been following this or tracking the account, since March, that they have been on the case since March. So we'll give that to them. That we can't argue with them. But the fact remains that the timing, understand, very close to a time like an election period. It was a misfire, they misfired at that point in time. Whatever, I think it's a lesson. Some people are even asking that based on the misstep that the EFCC chairman should resign. However, it is neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there.
And again, as soon as EFCC took that step of freezing the state's account, the state also went to court. The state actually went to court. The Osun State actually went to court, where they were now, praying the courts to order the EFCC to reverse that particular action. And however, whatever happened, I think the presidential action
intervention.
now, intervention.
You should have
led
to the withdrawal of the case.
All those matters will end.
It should be withdrawn
at this matter in time. So, but it's a lesson going forward. It's also very important that the president and his handlers and the rest of the people, in some of these public policies. But some people also said that the president actually came out publicly to say this because of he wants to garner some kind of what I call it,
points.
So political points. Yeah, some political points.
It's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, what he has done is not wrong. So it's not wrong if he gets to snatch some of those points.
Approaching the 2027 general election, so he wants to garner some points.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's a good thing that they are able to look at what they have and be able to make use of what they have and do the work they want to do. I remember that before this one, one of the commissioners, they got some money in his house. I think it's, oh God, I can't remember.
I think the issue, there was an arrest. I think I know what you're talking about. There was an arrest made by the police, because even before the AFCC came into the matter, the running battle had been between the state governor and the commissioner of police in the state, where the state government was alleging that the commissioner of police was being partisan and the rest of them, and all sort of things. And not longer after that, then some officials of the state government were arrested, including the SSG, the secretary to the state government. And then the police alleged that he was arrested because that they found some cash and some electoral materials in his house, of which they denied it. You understand? The state government actually denied it. And after some time, I don't know whether there was an intervention, However, those people have been released.
Yes.
I think that's what you are trying to mention.
Yes, they have been released. I think they were released the day after.
Exactly, after some few days or so.
The SSG was released the day after. Okay. It's all good as far as we know. Seeing all these the way they are happening, it gives hope, kind of. And it also gives direction, I must say, because the EFCC will not want to do this sort of thing next time.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lesson that they would have picked from here.
Exactly, yeah.
If we must do this, let's just wait. Let them finish this hot season.
Especially when you're dealing with politically exposed persons and situations, because this is a political situation.
Yes,
there's nothing that people will not talk. People must link this to politics.
Yes. It's a good thing. And we want to say congratulations to the Osun State Governor for the fact that the accounts have been unfrozen or defrozen. They would continue to do what they are doing, and we hope that there will be good results. But this is a good example of good relationship between the state and the federal, because the governor had good relationship with the president, and so he called, and the results came out the way it is. As I said, your state, it was a kind of a cat and dog affair between the state government and the federal. And so it looked as though people were looking at it and saying that the governor was proud, and it was his pride that led to all those things. But then, of course, as you said, this is politics. Something will be added to one thing or the other to make the difference. Because from his own side, that's the governor's own side, or your state governor's own side, it was also mentioned that they are doing all these things so as to discredit the man as he is trying to contest as a presidential candidate of another organization or party. So it's just like that. If things happen like this within the period that there are many things to say, then of course many things will be said. Sure. And that's what has happened. Okay, we'll say continue. And we'll just want to take this break for a minute. We'll return and continue. Good to have you back again, and we're still here. We'll get into the next point or next topic we want to handle today on the program, and that is fake agency. ICPC submits interim report. The Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission has cleared the presidency of any wrongdoing in the controversial Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council saga, while recommending the prosecution of the council's promoter, that is Adeyemi. That's what they are recommending, the prosecution of the man. President Bola Tinubu received the Commission's interim investigation report at the presidential villa, and this is as Adeyemi declined to answer, that was on Thursday, declined to answer questions from members of the House of Representatives ad hoc committee, investigating the establishment of the council, following the absence of his lawyers and his opposition to the closed-door interrogation adopted by the committee. The man himself, that is Adeyemi. Okay, before I even talk about him, let me take more of this, that briefing State House correspondents while that day after presenting the report. The chairman of ICPC, that is Musa Adam San, said the investigation established that Adeyemi was never appointed by the federal government, and that the PFIPC also referred to in some documents as the Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council was never created by any law, executive order, or valid government instrument. That's what the chairman of ICPC said. The appointment letter presented by the suspect along with other supporting documents was completely forged and did not originate from the presidency. That is quoting Adamu. According to him, investigators also uncovered 2 additional fictitious agencies allegedly created by Adeyemi using forged legislative instruments. The FCT Investment Promotion Agency and the Foreign Investment Promotion Agency, public-private partnership, which were allegedly used to open bank accounts and conduct unauthorized activities. Adamu further disclosed that Adeyemi unlawfully took over the office of the defunct Presidential Economic Advisory Council after gaining unauthorized access to the facility and used the location to project legitimacy for the fake agency before visitors, government officials, and foreign diplomats. So this is what we have seen, and it is so loud and so clear from the ICPC's report. But then we will not forget that he himself, the man in question, has said that is on several occasions that he wants this matter to be made open, not private. That's why in the first place he refused to attend or to respond to the call by the National Assembly. Well, the ICPC has advised that the matter be taken to court, in actual fact, that he be prosecuted, in actual fact. But then everybody has said before now, let the man's opinion also be seen and be heard clearly. He has refused to go to any further gathering or meeting or investigative panel if it is not public, if it's not made public. That is what we'll still see how it unfolds. John, you have seen what the ICPC chairman said, Adamu, and all that we have been hearing before now, or the ones from the the chief of staff, and some other people many people who have also said one thing or the other about him. And even the Foreign Affairs Ministry has said something also against him. And we've been told that he didn't even start now, and that the matter, he had been warned even towards the end of last year, towards November, and that he had gone on to do things that were simply known as seen to be illegal. But now, this is the time it has come clear to the public to see. How do you see it?
Well, once again, thank you. I think this PFIPC, the whole saga, like you said, I think it was sometime last year that the whole thing unfolded. And that was even when some law enforcement agencies came into the matter. But when it was happening then, it was like happening behind scene until this year, when the man, Mr. Adeyemi Matthew, when I think he accused the chief of staff to the president of collecting the sum of 400 million, to buy that he bought is it the managing director or the chairman? The chairman, I think the chairmanship also. He was the chairman of the PFIPC, or something of that nature, and therefore it's called DG. I think it's DG, Director General, right? That the DG of the alleged fake agency, and that they collected the cost or the price for giving him the job was 600 million naira, which he paid 400 million through an intermediary to the chief of staff, to the president, and therefore that they were now demanding for the balance of the 200 million and that even the individual that he paid the money to, the person who was the intermediary, died in a hotel fire in Abuja, and even some media houses actually went in search of the identity and the background of that individual. In fact, I actually went to the hotel where the individual was supposedly lodged, and where he died. And the hotel, as of the time the media house went there, that particular property had been brought down, demolished. That property was demolished, and they also heard that the funeral ceremony of that individual took place in a church in Maitama, Abuja. And they went to the church to inquire about the funeral and who the guy was, because they assumed that, okay, if this church was able to participate and officiate over the funeral ceremony of this individual, maybe the church can actually say something about him. But when they got to the church said that a woman who claimed to be the sister of the individual was the one who convinced the church to officiate over the guy's funeral ceremony, the late person's funeral ceremony, and that was all. So the church now gave the media house the phone number of the woman who claimed to be the sister of the late individual, and then the media house tried several times to call that number to get to the woman, to understand more about this mysterious individual. But when the woman picked for the very first time, and then when she heard that they were from a media house, the woman stopped answering the calls. So as of today, nobody knows anything about that intermediary who is now late. The only thing that people know that the individual was that he actually socialized and interacted with the high and mighty, in the society, that individual who is now late. So that it was this thing that actually brought this thing to the limelight, that accusation and counter accusation. Now, beyond all the stories, I think what is happening here with the PFIPC is that within the institutional framework of governance in this country, that we have quite a lot of lapses and weakness across board. That is all what it's all about. Because even if you look at the report of the ICPC, if you study the report of the ICP, the interim, because they say it is an interim report, if you study it very, very well, you will simply know, because you will know that the ICPC has actually taken sides. You understand me?
Yes.
If you look at the report, if you study it very, very well, the report is accusatory.
Yes.
And what the ICPC is also saying is exactly the same thing that the presidency has also been canvassing, that this individual is a fraudster. Nobody doubts that this individual is this, is that. That has been the official stance of the president. You know, so not the president now per se, but the presidency, because of the official press releases on this issue coming out from the presidency. And if you see some other pro-presidency individuals, pro-presidency media, they have been canvassing the same thing. They've been saying the same thing. You know, it's just the same thing, that this man is a fraudster, is this, is that, and that, and so on and so forth, which means it's a one-sided thing. And now the ICPC has also come out to echo the same thing in the so-called interim report. So, but we as Nigerians, because if you look, since yesterday, when that ICPC interim report came out, you will definitely understand that it has not gone down well with the public. Yeah, the report has not gone down well with the public.
Yes.
You could see that the public perception is that the ICPC has not done a good job, that he has taken sides with the official stand of the presidency,
of the government,
over
of the presidency.
You understand? So that is it.
So leaving the man to be the lone voice in the wilderness.
Exactly, the wilderness. So that's the thing. Because people have been asking, every right-thinking individual, the simple question will be that there's no way under the sun that this individual will wake up from wherever he came from and just strolled into Abuja and then entered into the corridor of power of this country and then began to operate.
There must have been somewhere,
what Nigerians
someone
are asking,
inside
that the man is an alleged fraudster, blah, blah, blah. Nobody is doubting that. But what Nigerians are asking for, let us unravel the circumstances and those individuals within the corridors of power who helped the man, who assisted him to come to this level. You understand? That's what Nigerians are asking for. So we are looking for, now the House of Reps, has been over time now, carrying out a kind of public inquiry over the matter. A lot of government agencies, came to the inquiry and presented their positions and so on and so forth. Some time ago, somebody came and said that he actually paid the sum of 400 million to the man and on all those times. The person just came and I said the man is a fraudster, paid money to him, he has scammed him, and on and on and on. The most important thing here is that Nigerians want to know who are those who collaborated with him to get to this point in terms of setting up and operating this fake agency. That's the most important thing. And we don't know whether because the report of the ICPC now before the public, you can see that those vital ingredients that could unravel this matter, those ingredients were not inside that report. The report was just a one-sided report. Okay, the man did this, he did that. Then they were able to exonerate the presidency, not being part of it, and then some other government agencies. Then they also accused some other government agencies.
And then he has also been accused of creating two more. The other two more agencies, we are just hearing that for the first time in the report of the ICPC.
FCT
Investment Promotion
Agency and
the Foreign Investment Promotion Agency. So public-private partnership.
You understand? So, but again, you must also know, because of how weak the institutions are in the system, this particular PFIPC that we're talking about, it didn't just come out of the blues. There was an existing or a rested government agency that that was floated under the Buhari administration. I think they called it the Presidential Economic Advisory Council. There was an agency that that was set up under the Buhari administration,
which was shut down. Also
under Tinubu's administration. Tinubu, it was not shut down per se, but it got a new name. That particular Buhari's own was rested. Then the president, Tinubu's presidency administration now set up their own with a different
and
name.
all those people in the first
name.
one were asked to go.
Yeah, exactly, with a different name. So it is that Buhari era council, the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, that the man rode on top, rode on the wings of that one. So, you know, whenever he approached any government institution for collaboration, for assistance, you know, like the office of the secretary to the government of the federation, the head of service, the office of the budget office, because we're talking about the budget of that particular agency going into the national budget,
Yes,
and it was even part of the budgetary items that the president signed into law. So, you know, so how did he do that? I think it was simple. When those agencies saw some of these names, like the Presidential Economic Advisory Council, they felt that it was a real council, because there was a time that that particular agency existed.
And
we also heard that council existed, even though it was an ad hoc council that the president then set up to advise him on economic matters, where it was actually peopled by prominent Nigerians that time. So, but you know, when the agency was rested, or when the council was rested and the new one came up, some official documents and that were related to that council were still in existence. You understand? And I also heard that it is actually the office that that particular council used that the man now went back to continue with the PIF, IPC sort of a thing. So whatever it is, for me, I feel like the report of the ICPC is not balanced enough to be able to pinpoint and show Nigerians that that individual collaborated based on their position in this or the other government agency to assist in the setting up of this fake agency. Okay. And not just the setting up, and also the operation of the fake agency.
Yes. Okay, as we still continue with this, I also want to mention that ICPC is also somewhat involved in the previous matter we mentioned, that's talking about the election that will be coming up in Osun State. It's true, it's EFCC that froze the account, but ICPC has also said that its operatives will be deployed to all the 30 local government areas of the state during the August 15 general governorship poll. It was disclosed by the resident anti-corruption commissioner for Osun State, Yusuf Olatunji, while speaking with journalists during a street rally against vote buying organized by the commission in Osogbo on Thursday. And so during the street rally, which had in attendance core members, staff members of the Independent National Electoral Commission, ICPC members, among others, various speakers in 3 major languages in the country campaigned against vote buying. The rally had taken off and moved through a lot of places in Osogbo and ended in the market. So I'm bringing this is that ICPC is still, you're talking about this one, yes, but ICPC is still looking into that matter, because in actual fact, this vote buying thing, we have not seen anybody that they said was sentenced because of buying votes. Even nobody was arrested until just recently, but then those that were arrested were released, So it would be good to criminalize it, so that if anybody is involved in it, then the person knows that he is going in for it, So that's another thing, I don't know, another aspect of this same ICPC matter. ICPC is doing this, but the other side, they are doing this one.
Even beyond the ICPC being involved in tracking and maybe stopping vote buying or vote trading, as we call it now, the EFCC too has also been involved in it.
Yes.
I remember even the last election, in the last off-season election in Ekiti State, that the EFCC was also on ground, in Ekiti State.
At a stage, one of the gubernatorial candidates was accusing the EFCC man that was there, saying that he saw what was happening and he didn't do anything.
Okay, beyond that, yes, there's a limit to even what the law enforcement agencies can do. Because in some parts of the state, even when the EFCC came out, when they physically saw people who were exchanging money, for the sake of vote buying or vote trading, they wanted to intervene. You understand? The EFCC, they saw it happening, they wanted to intervene by stopping it, but the people themselves
resisted
the EFCC
them.
Because they felt that the EFCC was coming there, the operatives were coming there to put sand in their gari. The way we say it here on the street in Nigeria. And you know, like somebody who left home with no money in his pocket,
hoping to get some money from this point.
To get some little money to go and buy a little thing for the family.
Yes.
Then the EFCC now comes and say you want to stop it. The people resisted the EFCC and said no. We must collect this money. You understand?
We don't know where the next one is coming from.
So that also underscores the vulnerability of the citizenry.
I want to add the poverty in the land.
They are vulnerable. Now the poverty has made them very vulnerable, to all sort of things and influences. And you cannot blame them. I remember there was even a time that I think it was the time of the Ondo State election too, in 2024. I think we are also in this studio. We are following the election live inside this studio.
Yes.
And there was a man a man with disability who called live right here inside the studio. And the person was like that he was there in a polling booth in somewhere in those states, and that nobody was around to help him, to even direct him to the place where he could actually go and vote. He was looking for people that would help him to bring down his wheelchair and assist him. Nobody. So we were like, okay, please look around whether you can see a police officer that just complained to them. And he called us back and said that he saw a police officer. And he was beckoning on the police officer to come and help him. But the police officer was not listening. We now asked the man, why? Why was the police officer not listening to you or to come and help you? The man simply told us that the officer was going after money, that they were sharing money around. So the man was also running to go and get his own share. So he didn't care about the person with disability who needed help to go to a place where he can vote, or to go to the polling unit to vote, to the polling point. So the issue of money in the electoral system, I can assure you, before it used to be ballot box snatching and the rest of them, but with the new systems, the digitalization and everything, all the things that we have seen, the improvement in the electoral process, it has reduced to some extent the issue of ballot box snatching. Now it is about vote trading. That is the issue. And I can assure you that as far as the level of poverty, that we have today remains in the country, the issue of vote buying or vote trading will never stop. It's even getting worse. It's getting worse.
We will take another break at a time like this, and by the time we return from the break, we expect to receive some calls from you, dear viewer. And the number will be there also for you to see and make your input as you call. Thank you.
Welcome to Abba in Abuja. The main agenda here is the promotion of made in Nigeria products. Could this trigger the much needed change in the telecom industry for better service delivery? Welcome to Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. A golden opportunity for the country to showcase its potentials among community of nations. Now, here comes the body, accompanied by her husband from India, where she has been receiving treatment. Total liberalization of the communication sector will bounce back in view of the sentimental attachment to it by Nigerians. The need for the players of the industry to still put their acts together to consolidate on the previous efforts has therefore become imperative. That popular saying that necessity is the mother of invention is beginning to have effect on Nigeria for good. Reporting from Dubai. Hello, I am Ruben Okala. I have not retired I am refiring at KAFTAN TV. And as you see on KAFTAN TV, get back to work.
The state police is the next thing. Good to have you back anyway. The state police is the next one. Citizens Participation Portal. There is a portal that has just been released by the federal government, is it not?
Yes.
Yes, so that the members of the public will be able to get involved, and so that a kind of public hearing thing, but this time in a different way, so that the people can just go through that portal to make their contributions, and at the end of the day, the final decision will be taken by the presidency, state police. Even in addition to this, I must say that even as we are talking about that and preparing for that, I read somewhere that the Police Service Commission has released 50,000 new constables to police for training. So even as the main federal police, let me use that word now, is strengthening itself, beefing up activities and getting to beefing up its staff membership with 50,000 more people, the talk for the state police is still going on. At the end of the day, this will be the kind of thing you see in Los Angeles, in America, where you have the LAPD. Apart from the fact that the major in New York, we had the NYPD, yes, and as it goes on this way, but then the main federal police, as the FBI, still remains there doing its duty. So, well, I think it's a beautiful thing. I don't know what you think anyway.
No, I think it's a good thing, and I think we must give kudos and and commend the commitment of the President's administration, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to see that this issue of state policing is not more about talk shops. It's now going to be a reality.
Action.
Sending, if you look at even there's a policy, the draft policy that the government actually put out there, upon which the draft bill or the amendment, because for you to really get this, there had to be some amendment to the Constitution to get the state police, inserted into our Constitution.
Yes.
So because that's the very first step, and you can see that that has actually, is underway now. The legislative process, of amending the Constitution is currently underway to bring in the issue of state police into one of the items in the Constitution is underway, and it's believed that by the time it goes through the states, but if you get 2/3 of the states, approving it, and all the items contained, it returns to the president for his assent, and then before you know it, it's assented to, and then the process of bringing it to life will begin, and there's no other time than now to go ahead with it with the state police, because of the myriad of security problems that the country is facing. Over the past almost getting to 20 years now, Nigeria have been battling with the problem of terrorism, insurgency. Today you're talking about bandits operating in the northwest, you're talking about kidnapping all over the place. So, and one of the reasons that experts, have adduced why these things have been there is simply because we don't have enough manpower in terms of policing. If you look at the federal police that we've brought today, they are not even up to 500,000 people across the country. Despite this number that you mentioned, 50,000 being sent to the police by the PSC, so for training, even at that, it's still like a little drop of water in the ocean. So it's a good thing. However, like it has always been said since, and up to now, these issues keep on coming up. The problem of political interference by the governors using the state police as their own personal army, you know, to oppress their opponents or their political rivals across the state. Even today, where you have a lot of states, you know, setting up vigilante groups or state security systems, you know, you can see how some of these people are even operating in the state. You know, even some kind of human rights abuses across, you know, against citizens in some of these states by these state security agencies, you know. So people also are afraid that, okay, when they set up all these agencies now, all these the state police, I hope the governors will not use them. But we're also saying, good and fine, we cannot rule that out, but that will not in itself stop the state police from being set up and being operational. As time goes on, these problems will arise, but the fact remains that they are not enough to stop the process of setting up the state policing system in the country. Because
if you look at the federal policing system that we do in this country, you know, it's so centralized, and I can't even remember anywhere in the world where you have a federal state like Nigeria.
And there is no other anywhere.
Police system. You have to have police, yes, the federal police should be there, they're dealing with federal laws, and then you also have to have this police at the sub-nationals, that's at the state level, and you have to have police even at the local government level. Because if you look at using the American system, for example, at the lowest level, which is the county system, there's the county police.
Okay, we'll continue with that. Let's just take this break. We'll return soon. Thank you. We're still here, and it's still the polity as it's coming away from KAFTAN television. I want to believe that you are enjoying it all, though I'm still expecting to, or we are still expecting to receive a call, and we will soon be through. So please do make your call if you need to do that before we start rounding off. It's about time for us to even get into the rounding off process, but let's just go on a little while. The state police thing, and we're talking about the citizens participation portal. So if someone does not want state police, there is now that portal that is open already for such a person to write reasons for which, or state reasons for which he does not want police, state police, and post and make sure that he will be heard. If you want it and you feel that all that have been said is not enough, you are free to also open that portal, send your own for that reason to kind of encourage that the police, state police, will go on in Nigeria. This is the time. So kind of getting people involved, if you like. It's not the town hall meeting now. It is not the sensitization process now. It is that this is high time we knew that it's not just only thinking, but we can put things down and post, and we'll be sure that our opinions will be heard. That is it. State police. State police. For me, I had said all the time, I had said in the past, I'm saying again, that there will be good need, strong need to have state police, because the presence of the state police in each state will help reduce to the barest minimum, I will want to use the word, all this problem of insecurity. The policeman that is from state A, working in state A, knows the people in state A, where he lives, where he comes from. And so whoever that is doing negative things within state A, he would be able to locate the person early enough. And when he can't, he will ask his brother or his sister or his friend or neighbor who would definitely know something about that person, and that person will be nabbed and matter held and concluded. But, and looking at it again, you see the language that person will use is the language the policeman in that state understands. It's no longer you're speaking your language and I don't understand what you're saying. No way. You are saying what I know, and so I can react or respond to whatever you're saying, depending on the way you say it. So for me, I think it's all good. For those who have been thinking that it could be an opportunity for state governors to bully people, the people that are not even state governors that want to bully people in Nigeria are still bullying people. And so when this other one comes, maybe the people that are being bullied could be used, could use that state police to help themselves. So let's not just seal it and say, no, it's all bad. Let it be allowed to operate. Then we will see, and see the good, the bad, and the ugly parts or aspects of the work. Then the problem could be tackled. But most of all, for me, I would say for security purposes, there is strong need to have a state police. John, we're almost getting to the end of the program, and I will want to hear you bring the conclusive part of this story of the state police. And you were saying something before I stopped you.
The main purpose of canvassing or setting up, the state policing system in the country is security and nothing more. It's for security purposes, nothing more, nothing less. And that should be the main focus of every Nigerian. With that belief and hope that by the time we are done with the legislative process and the constitution is altered and the state police become a constitutional matter and a legal thing, and we start operating it, that it will help to reduce these problems of security that we have across the country today, because it's always said that every crime is local, and the only way you can also tackle any crime is by applying the local solution. And the state policing system, I can tell you, is one of those local solutions, because like okay, said a while ago, when people are familiar with a particular terrain, in terms of the culture, in the language, and so many other aspects, it will be easy for them to deal with issues emanating from that particular location. If you look at the federal system today, somebody who is from a different part of the country, who doesn't understand the language, who doesn't understand the culture of the people, is sent to a local place to go and fight crime. Sometimes those hindrances may make it difficult for this individual or for the police at that particular area to fight crime. Sometimes again, because we have a centralized policing system, when there is an emergency within a particular location in the country, far away from the center, the people, the police authorities in those localities may wait until they get order from the IGP at the center in Abuja before anything is done, and this has created a lot of loopholes in the nation's fight against crime. And therefore, it's not even a practicable thing that we continue as a nation, to have a single policing system at the federal level with the sheer size of this country, with the population of this country, and as a federal system. Because when we talk about federal, when you say a nation is a federal system, what it simply means is that the federating systems, in the case of Nigeria, are talking about the states and the local government system, they are the ones who actually have more powers. You understand? Because the federating units make up the system. The work of the federal government at the center is to coordinate and to make sure that there's cohesion in the system, and then become the face of the nation internationally within diplomatic circles and foreign affairs. But in terms of the real governance of the country, it lies with the federating system. And in many places, even federating systems are even semi-autonomous and semi-independent, because they run their affairs. Like today in this country, in any state in this country, the governor, is almost independent, because he has the ability, the constitution has given him the power to run the state within the confines of the law and within the limits of his abilities as an individual to do so. You understand? So we should be able. Now you also know that today in the country, beyond the issue of federal policing and the state police, there have also been the problem of the redevolution of powers, especially the revenue sharing system, and then the issue of resource control. These are also very important items, but it's important, in order to make this country a real federal system in terms of governance, it is important that we continue gradually. If we are able to get through the policing system and then develop power to the federating units to make sure that they have their own police and control their own police, then we can still go into other areas like the issue of resource control and so many other aspects of our system today that we are yet to get to, which is very, very important. So the state police thing is a good thing, and I believe that despite all the problems that people are talking about, and worried about, are concerned about, I feel that let's just take the first step. As we move ahead, then we correct ourselves and it will get better.
Thank you. And there is another thing I also have seen in it. You see, if people are talking about corruption in the police system, you can start a new police, the one that does not have corruption in your state. Get like when not Obasanjo now, but IBB, when he needed to bring the interim national government, he consulted widely, and at the end of the day, Chief Ernest Shoneko was was brought forth as the main person that will be the interim president. Is it not? Good. In the same way, each state can look for those honest people they have known all the years and bring them to run the state police for them. And they themselves will, through recommendations and things like that, get other people who are good people who will be able to handle this. I remember many years ago, about 40 years ago, someone was saying something about the police in Anambra State, because Anambra is among the least of the states that have their people in the police force. Because then when you want to do it, say, you become a policeman. What for? God forbid. That's what will happen. They say, no, So most of the time, they will bring people from other states, from the northern states, to take the quota of Anambra State and some other eastern states like that. But with this, when you see, and why is it? Because they were saying that, no, there are many corrupt people there, many evil things happening there. When you bring the ones now that will be state police, like just like fire service, you know, it had been federal fire service all the while, until recently, when we started having state fire service stations, you know, and that has helped. I know that the person that was brought in to head the fire service in that Anambra State at that time was someone that was versed in things like that, and someone that everybody knew his track record. We could look for such people in states, in various states, and make them the coordinators or overseers or whatever they may refer to as in each of their states. With such, the confidence of people will get back into seeing that there could be something beautiful even from such organizations. I think that is where we would rest the case today. And I want to thank you so much, John.
Thank you very much
for being here and helping me put these things in clear terms for everyone to understand.
Thank you.
And thank you again. We have tapped from your wealth of experience. I pray that you keep coming. As I always say, I'll still call you, beckon on you to be here again and again.
The problem.
Do please
I'm
oblige
always
us.
available.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir. Dear viewer, thank you for watching and being part of what has happened. I want to say special thanks to Elizabeth Ahieba for helping, along with Sam Omaji, for getting us on the way we did get on here. And then not forgetting Peace Godwin. Peace, thank you so much, Peace. You've worked with Sanusi Adebayo, who has overseen. Then again, we want to thank Joseph Ocheduku. I know he is around there. Then there is Victor Chizea, Oluwaseun Adejuwon, and Felix Akijagula. On the other side, we have our editor, strong editor, Victor Adeyeye. And I've had Faith Godwin working with me, Faith Gowan working with me personally, privately on this particular segment. And it has not just been Faith, we've also had Adeze Okoro, who are doing the same work with us today to ensure that everything is perfected for you, dear viewer, to enjoy what has happened. So you see, it's a huge crowd that worked to see today's success of this program today. We want to thank you so much for being there for us. And do come again. This is the last of the days of the working days in this week. So next week we'll still be able to come on and share more with you. Until when we meet again on this platform, maybe with another presenter, until when I also come, because we have many others on it. This is Okechukwu Onubogo, and what I've got to say remains. May the very best happen to us all the time.